My name is DJ Vicious Vic, and you're watching the B Shine. Well, I come from a very musical family. Growing up, everybody listened to music, from all kinds of music. And my parents and my grandparents listening to music. When way back we had, I grew up with having 78 speed records around, on real wax, not vinyl. I first really started DJing when I was in high school at Highland Park, WHPR 88.1. We played all kind of music, and that was like 1979. So the year I graduated from high school was 1981. Had already been on the radio, and I got introduced to hip hop. When I graduated in '81, I went to New York. A friend of mine was about to go to New York, and asked did I want to ride, and I just said, hey, what am I doing with my life? I just graduated. I wasn't going to school. I wasn't doing anything, but I was heavily into the music. New York being the Mecca, it's like I wanted to go. So I jumped in the car. We rode out to New York. We walked everywhere. His mother had some business in New York, and we just walked during the day while she was gone, and we walked. And eventually we came across a crowd of people, and outside, music playing and all kinds of stuff going on. We battled through the crowd, and it was a DJ mixing. Now, like I said, I've been DJing, but I had never seen nobody DJing. And he was cutting and scratching. He had 3 turntables hooked up, and he's going at it, and I didn't even know what cutting and scratching was. And I didn't know what cutting and scratching was. So I'm looking, I'm like, wow, what in the me and my boy was like, what the hell is this? And that. So then one of the guys in the crowd, he's like, told us, that's Grandmaster Flash. So, didn't mean a whole lot right then in that instant, but that this bad motherfucker was killing it, He was killing it. So, went straight up in the record store. What is this music that he was playing? Because, he was playing music we never heard of, which was hip hop. So we go up in the record store, and it is like I was reborn for real. That's when I was introduced to hip hop, and I fell in love, and I've been addicted ever since. So with that story being told, that's 1981. I have to say, as far as that's my first impression of Detroit hip hop, is I am Detroit hip hop. I impregnated it. I impregnated Detroit with hip hop. I broke it in hip hop. I broke hip hop in Detroit in 1982. If there's somebody else, if there's another DJ that was in the clubs playing, I would like to meet him. I would like to kick it with them, because I could be wrong, I suppose. But Club La Umo, I cracked it officially, because that was one of the hottest clubs in the city, was Club La Umo, 35 East, 7 Mile. All they played was house music, They didn't want to hear what I had to do, but I had a connection that was so tight, they put me on the turntables. Legendary DJ Ken Collier, house DJ, world renowned. R.I.P. Ken. He was DJing up in there. They didn't want no parts of what I was trying to do. First night I played hip hop in there, they almost snatched me off the turntables and literally almost threw me out. I had to come back the next week, and I found a way of mixing hip hop into their house music. And but they was jamming on the house music, I would slide that hip hop in on them, and before they knew it, they was dancing to hip hop, and then they'd be pissed off. And they'd run off the floor. Ken Collier had one of the baddest rap records in history, in Detroit especially, Bad Times, by Kimberly Ball, in his crate, and never played the vocal version. He always played the instrumental, because it was a fast pace, it was like house music, and never played the rap version until he never even heard it until I played it for him. I felt like everybody had to hear this. The way it impacted me, the way it hit me like a ton of bricks, when I seen it, I knew it was going to be the next best thing going. I knew by being in the music industry, radio industry, because the radio station we were at Highland Park, WHPR, was a full-fledged radio station. I mean, we had UPI in there. We did news, everything. We was an actual broadcasting station. I was up on the music that was on. We got dealt all the same music that all the top major stations got. We had them, they were sending us our music as well. There was no rap on it. No rap being played, you know? And I knew it needed to be played. They needed to hear it. Everybody needed to hear it. If you really want to be technical, Highland Park is where I'm born and raised. That's who heard it first. Upon coming back from that trip to New York in '81, I only had about $35 in my pocket. Because this was a spontaneous trip. It was like, hey, let's jump in the car, we went. I spent that on 12-inch records. When I went in that record store, I spent everything I had on records. I came back with about 4 or 5 records that I just started dropping on at all the parties. I DJ'd all the parties around Highland Park, you know. So, and then the La Umo experience really kind of put me on a whole city level. First person, notable name was Brian Piccolo, who used to run the WGPR's the new dance show in the scene back in the day. They used to throw parties up at La Umo's, and he seen it. And when he witnessed me playing hip hop, he had been making trips back and forth to New York, and he had heard hip hop, so he would been trying to tell people about it, but he's not a DJ. I would play them same 4 records over and over and over. The funky 4+1 with the rapping ball, rapping about. And then Jazzy Sensation, Planet Rock, Jimmy Spicer. Yeah, I think those were like about the 4 or 5 records that I bought that day. I needed some new turntables because I wasn't able to do what I seen Grandmaster Flash doing. I wasn't able to do on the Radio Shack turntables that I had. But what I did do in the meantime, in between time, before I could afford some Technique 1200s, is I took those rubber mats off like everybody else. I got that old album cover and I cut the disc out and made it, slip pad out of an old album cover. And God bless my father, rest in peace, who had to endure the hours of me struggling with trying to mix and scratch. It had to be a lot similar to giving your kid a drum set, a baby a drum set, and just to smash. I mean, they didn't like it really. I don't believe. I think entertainment is a scary business for a lot of people, especially back then when I was coming into it. Very few people made it. It was like a 1 in a million chance. It's like, but I won't lie. My dad never said anything to discourage me in any kind of way. It was actually one of the few things that he actually supported me in. I had older brothers that told me, hey, you ain't gonna make it. You need a job. Well, from the beginning, I started out at 14, 15 years old, broadcasting on a WHPR on the radio. From there, just doing various clubs. I got into the club scene, into the party cabaret scene, being a mobile DJ first, and just playing for the streets, and just would do all the street parties and everything. It's kind of where I built my name up, is really in the streets. And then the type of shows I would do, I like promoting Detroit music. That's because just like when I fell in love with hip hop, I'm a home player, I'm a team player. So when we started making hip hop, we got into hip hop, and I watched the seeds that I put out grow into actual rappers and entertainers. All I wanted to do at that point was promote them. But we did struggle with talent at first, and then we struggled with production at first, and then we struggled with videos, and we looked bad at first. I'm not gonna lie. But then it got better, and then the Awesome Dre hit, a few other people, Smiley, Detroit's Most Wanted, Chaos and Maestro. We started building up momentum, and it started getting better and better. But the industry has never shown any real love for Detroit hip-hop. And I don't know if it's because they got some old emotions about Motown they don't want us to relive, or I don't know what it is, but now all the excuses are over with. We've got great production. We've got dope lyricists. We got, from every kind of genre of hip-hop that you can imagine, as far as positive, whatever street, whatever level you want to be on, it's there. Production, we got some of the baddest producers that came before and after Jay Dilla, but Jay Dilla set us straight. He put us out there, and the artists still don't get on. You know, Eminem cracks the world's head. We still don't have like a pool or nobody wants to tap into this. They think that's the only talent. There's no knock on any of those other, but it's a pool of dope artists here that they're not tapping into for whatever reasons. I don't know. But the excuses are over with. It's great production on every level now and still no airplay. Some of my people in Highland Park had a internet radio station that they were running, polarbearradio.com, and my man AJ McGee, and we were building it up, and we did a lot of shows on there. We brung a lot of interesting artists, not just rappers and hip hop, but a lot of the dopest rappers in the city used to come through, and we did a lot of shows on there that promoted Detroit music. Period. Because, like I said, that's what I'm in it for. Really, at this point, that's all I want to do. Especially now that all the excuses are over with. You know, I really want to push this music and find other outlets. That's why I can appreciate what you're doing on the B Shine. You know, because all these artists that you're interviewing are dope artists, and all they really need is the airplay and get some promo like any other top industry acts that somebody put some money in or promotion or marketing or whatever behind. That's all they need. Well, I'll tell you who's always entertaining, and you did an interview with him as Super MC, and we actually, he used to come on the show a lot, and then we actually started doing the show on Polar Bear Radio, his freestyle hour, because Soup's connected to everybody, you know, so he used to bring a lot of artists in, Mo Dirty to Guilty Simpson to Nick Speed, all the Dreadnoughts, you know. Big shouts out to my Almighty Dreadnoughts. You know. Any shows that provide me the opportunity to play some of our music, that's what I'm all about. The most significant thing that could have happened was in 1983 is Run DMC came down to Hart Plaza and they put on a free concert. And that's when a lot of the people, because I was touching a lot of people. I did a lot of parties. I'm putting this, but they're still so new to people that they didn't know. You know, they're like, what is this shit that he's playing? We don't even know what it is. Once the masses seen Run DMC do it, like, that's what they, you see Jam Master Jay behind two turntables. That's what the fuck he's doing. You know? Then it dawned on a lot of people. A lot of the people that I had exposed this to, they knew what I knew. It was going to be, you know, this was the next best thing going. I've worked with all of these great people in hip hop, between like a lot of the ones that I've mentioned already, and there's so many more. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to get caught up in saying names or whatever, but just being able to make a career DJing, and hip hop gave me that opportunity. It wasn't just DJing. I could have been a DJ, but it was hip hop specifically, because launching that in Detroit is what gave me my popularity, you know. One big thing that I can remember, now my name was bubbling so hard then because of this, that a radio station, 102.7 back then, it was WLBS, had a contest where a battle of the DJs, where they said, call in and vote for your favorite club jock. I didn't have no idea that this was going on, and then all of a sudden I hear my name on the radio. And leading in our DJ contest is DJ Vicious Vic from Club La Umo. I was like, what? Did he just say my name or whatever? So I was able to call the radio station, call. I got in. They answered the phone. They're like, I said, I just heard my name on the radio. I'm DJ Vicious Vic. The dude literally dropped the phone. I could hear him screaming in the background. That's it, whatever. And he gets on the phone and he tells me, I'm in the lead for all, this is over the whole city of Detroit. Top club jock. And the closest person, which is way under me, is Ken Collier. And I'm telling you, when I say Ken was a DJ god, that he really was. Like after he passed away, Ken Collier passed away, they threw a tribute for him in Germany, and in like a stadium, 65,000 people showed up, you know, for this dude. He lived right next door to my DJ partner, DJ Source. You know, this is a guy we know, grew up with. it's getting that kind of tribute. So we got a lot to be proud about in Detroit as far as music goes, whether it's classic stuff or the new or whatever. And that's what I'm about, man. That's why I'm here today talking to you. Even though our product wasn't up to par, the original, like Detroit's Most Wanted, and Jack Frost and Chaos and them and Smiley and Awesome Dre, I really was impacted by them because this is here now I'm seeing my hometown do this. So for me personally, that was big. Sure, there's probably been some maybe bigger on a bigger scale things that's happened, but impact-wise, I think nothing really hit you like that first time, and seeing your friends and your peers and stuff exceed and something that the work that's going to take over the world. And it did literally take over the world. And I wasn't the only one fighting. Hip hop's been fought for a long time. And then by the time it got accepted, we just want Detroit to get accepted along with everybody else. That's all. I haven't had to work a real job. I mean, a real job. I've made a career out of DJing, like I said earlier, and that is, have I made as much money as some people or others or whatever? Probably not. But I've actually been able to feed my family and live a great life and all doing something that I absolutely adore, something that I would die for, something I bleed for. It's run through my veins. I swear if I cut my arm right now, hip-hop would just spill out. That I fought hard for our city. To my best ability, I pushed and tried to promote and bring attention to our music, because our music is strong, it's from the heart. For people to say hip-hop is dead is a damn lie, because if you have a problem with hip-hop, you have a problem with society. I suggest you clean up society first, because you're killing the messenger. Hip-hop is the messenger. I cannot understand why society or anybody outside of Detroit would not want to hear the story or the messages that come from a city that works so hard, that struggles so hard, that fights so hard, no matter what. I would think you want to know these people's story. You want to know our story. Stop blocking us out, absorb it. You're just not used to hip hop coming from Detroit. I get it. You ain't used to it being good. I get it. Them days are over with. The excuses are over. We got dope shit in the D. And if you keep listening to what the radio or mainstream keeps feeding you, and that's not even just in Detroit, but if and that's why people think hip hop is dead, because they keep listening to the radio. And that's the only thing, if you listen to that, I'll guess your impression would be a bit tainted. But to think that there isn't good hip hop because that's all you hear is bad hip hop is just moronic at some point. I would like to think that directly or indirectly that if it was hip hop related, that it somehow came from me, because I don't know of anybody else that was doing it beforehand, and I stand to be corrected. But until then, I will stand on top of that and salute everybody, because but they influenced me to keep doing it, because I don't think that I could have just kept playing hip hop if it wasn't being accepted, and if it wasn't being influenced, playing it had to influence, because once you see somebody, something to do, you're gonna want to do it. So I would have to think, yes,